Welcome to a gloomy November in my garden, on my patio. The garden on Grandview. That's what I'm calling this series. And I thought, well, what a great opportunity to spend a little bit of time, show everyone where I'm at in November. I typically only, I think I normally just show, when the garden is grand, when we've got, things growing, and I don't do a lot of fall type videos. It's rainy. The lighting's not really good here on my patio, even though I've got the light on. I'm not sure when the next time the sun's going to come out, but we've not had a killing frost yet, even though a lot of things are now put to bed for the winter. Hey, check this out. So how this is gonna work on this episode is I'm gonna take you a walk through the garden, show you some of the things that where they're currently at in November in the Puget Sound. I'm in growing zone 8B, so some of you have already seen frost in other parts of North America, perhaps even some snow. No snow here. Hopefully we don't get any snow this winter. It happens from time to time. But I still have an opportunity to still do some things. So making some plans, making some big changes here in the backyard, in that garden. And the big project is the front garden. I'm going to start referring to it as my front garden, because instead of just a piece of lawn that I grumble about mowing periodically, I'm removing that turf. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in this episode. So let's just start with a quick, in the term of my way of doing things quick, a quick walk through the garden to give you an idea of what's going on, some of the projects that I'm working on this winter. So in the spring, when the warmth comes again and the sun shines and plants start to thrive again, we have an idea of what some of the goals are, so I can keep on track. And the one thing I really love about doing these videos is I'll make promises, and it kind of encourages me to kind of stick with my plans. So I find it very rewarding. But hey, let me introduce you to a plant. Now I'm going to read it because, I have a hard enough time pronouncing plant names. And this is kind of pretty cool. It's a pretty awesome plant. So this is called Trachystemon orientalis kiwi sun. And I'm sure I put that down on the bottom here somewhere, because even as I was saying it, even though I practiced saying it, I still think I kind of butchered that. But I saw this plant when visiting Windcliff, Dan Hinckley's Windcliff up in Indianola, Washington, in May of this year. And I got one pot that had 2 plants in it, and each plant had about 2 leaves about this size. That's all there was. Now look at this beast. That's like 3 feet wide. I split that pot into 2, and I've got this, and I got another one this big. This thing was such an aggressive grower in its spot. It overshadowed some cold hardy begonias I planted in the area. So I'm moving this out. I have great plans for it. Now check out this picture of what I saw when it was planted in Windcliff. What is that called? Chartreuse. That amazing lime green, light green, bright color. This kind of is reminiscent of like a hosta when you're looking at hostas in the leaves. This is slug resistant. Nothing has bothered this. Nothing has bothered this in my garden. Now, is it deer resistant? Who knows? Do I have deer? No. Do I care? Well, no, not in my garden. But that is something, if you deal with deer, you might want to check that out. But I don't know, it just feels like something I don't think we'd want to eat. So anyhow, wow, right? So let's see what we're going to do here. I am going to move on now, so we can start checking out the garden, so we can get to the front garden and give you kind of a little bit of insight of what's going on, what prompted things, and what we have to look forward to next growing season, and what kind of progress and work I need to do over the winter to make things ready. Because you know me, I want it now. So let's get to it. Boy, my video skills are just horrible. I need to get a buddy to help me out with these things. I just recorded this next segment, and then I realized when I went to go check it out that I didn't actually record it. So it was just me blabbering at myself. But, you know, that's like any random afternoon for me, just out in the garden talking to myself about what I'm doing. Anyhow, let's see, what did we recap there? What did you miss out on? What you missed out on was, oh, look at my mulch. So straw, that was all left over from last year. I had it piled. I had this grandiose plan that I was going to put a grow bag in the center and grow like some amazing gourds. They grew a little bit, not enough sun, not enough water, inconsistent water, who knows. It was not a priority during the season. So I'm guessing I just failed at that. But anyhow, I've moved that out here because I'll give you a quick little snippet as we walk through, so you can see what I'm working on the back 40, you know, the area behind the garden that we never really went into in previous episodes, visiting my garden. You'll see I've still got the begonias. There's still some green ones back there. I'll give you a rundown through here so you can still see what's green. We just haven't had a killing frost yet. Nothing to really knock it back. Now there are a few that have gone dormant, but the ones that, but for the most part, many of them have not. We've still got some buds. I'm still taking some leaf cuttings in hopes to do some propagating in the house over winter. But we'll take a quick little walk through there. I'll take you a walk around the back part of the property as we go over to, I want to show you where I dug out that kiwi sun that I'm dividing, so you can see that there is in fact another one just the same size, and kind of give you insight on what my plans are with that. So without further ado, let's do that quick little walk. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Hey, so I cut down the canna lilies. I really love how it looks looking through the bamboo. So I've decided I'm moving the canna lilies next spring. Once they start coming back to life, I will lift them, divide them, share some, and I'm going to put them along through here where I had those angel trumpet brugmansia, and I will find a new home for those, something that gets a little more sun, because it does get a little, not nearly as much sun as I had hoped here. The musa still, you know, doing pretty well. Oh, I got dog poo everywhere in my yard. I thought I went through and picked it up. Blueberry bushes. You know what? I'm not a vegetable garden, not a fruit gardener. I will still entertain a few of those, but those are being gifted to someone else. And the wife is working on a bottle tree. We'll be curious to see how that develops in the coming months, years, seasons. Anyhow, look at this. Something's going to sleep, but the hardy fuchsia still blooming. The emiensis is still going on. We won't spend a lot of time, but here, just take a look. If you see something you're curious about, please, by all means, drop a comment. I respond to every comment. I love that all these little nasty leaves are providing a little layer of mulch. I think I really like that view right there. I'm going to take a picture of that. Last year, I think I went overboard in mulching my begonias. Now, we also had a mild winter, so I'm going to kind of hit or miss, try a couple different versions, different levels, because I do have multiples of a lot of the same varieties, just to see what I can get away with. And then hopefully we'll have a harder winter, just so I really kind of know what we're doing there. So that's kind of how this area looks. Look, I got 2 elderberries sitting in there. Those are gifts. And I look forward to growing those out. Have you seen a giant elderberry bush? Oh my gosh, it's absolutely amazing. I still got to get my seashells put away because I don't know what they're going to do when they frost. My mums, well, not very impressive. I have cut some back because I was working on some propagation. But again, not enough sun. The hardy amaryllis, belladonna, those are growing nicely now. They did not bloom this year. I think they were overwatered throughout the year because they like a period of dryness. Anyhow, you can see all the dahlias have been knocked down. And then, so back here, so this, you'll remember right where that tree stump is, that's where I had all my straw mulch from last year in a pile. So I've kind of cleaned this area out. I've moved some irises that I've recently acquired around my bog garden. I've gathered all the foxglove from the different spots in the yard and moved them into one area. And then behind that, the hollyhocks. And then my torch lily or red hot pokers. I had one huge clump. So I've split that up and I've put that over here. So I'm kind of interested to see how that grows and fills in next year. So it really looks amazing back here. I just want to make it so there's nowhere to see earth. And then I moved my honey bush, Melianthus major, Antinous blue. I cut that back and put that here. Hopefully that'll come back. I'm pretty confident it will. So, and then you can kind of see, you know, I took down some bushes and some branches, opened this up here, and I'm just slowly working from the shed to the far corner, and I've kind of outlined a path, if you will, that I'm gonna incorporate so I can have things in different areas and just create more space to put more plants that I find and collect that bring me joy and happiness. Perhaps the hops will grow next year. They're perennial, so hopefully they'll come back at some point. Maybe I'll get a new fence. Wow, it's just kind of desolate back here. And then this area over here, I'm gonna fill in with a lot of ground cover, low growing things. I did get a eucalyptus. Ooh, I didn't show you the other eucalyptus, but I planted one over by those ferns, and that's supposed to have a pretty amazing flower. So I mulched the island of misfit begonias with all the tomato vine choppings. That probably now thinking was a poor choice, because I'm guessing next year I'll have billions of tomatoes growing right there. So I'm not sure. I may actually remove that and put actual mulch, or maybe I'll just say, hey, oh well, let's see what happens and hope for the best. But boy, that would suck though if I had a bunch of tomatoes and begonias come back. But this is just kind of a test. I didn't, you know, whether the tomatoes come or begonias come back, that's hard to tell. Anyhow, so right here is where I took out that kiwi sun. There's the other one. I'm going to divide that, and I'm going to put areas here, because I think in the spring, if you remember that picture I showed you here, maybe I'll put it up in the corner again. So I think that'll look really great in the spring. And then at some point it blooms. I think it said it's like a little purple blossoms. And then columbine. Oh my gosh, those things went nuts. At some point, and I may not do this until spring, but I'm going to move some columbine, because I actually have 3 or 4 hydrangea babies in here growing. So, and then I got to figure out what that plant was. That was also a cool plant with a yellow flower. It kind of grows like a little bush, but it was pretty impressive. And then my Himalayan honeysuckle. So that's kind of what we got going on there. What else? Oh, that Tetrapanix. That thing's amazing. I can't wait. I want to put a couple more of those in the yard. I'm really kind of liking this look. I think that's gonna, moving out some of the bushes and shrubs that I had, cutting down the cannas, and now the plan to move those, that's gonna allow a little more sun into that area. So the palm tree, the little baby palm tree, will stand out a little bit more. And then I think I can add some more sun-loving items that will give me more of a tropical feel, because the musa and the bamboo and everything, just the way it was growing, was creating so much shade that I think some things were struggling to live. Oh, my Mexican orange blossom did not bloom this year. Took a while to get happy, and now all of a sudden it's starting to grow. So that's going to be a pretty amazing little bush here. And then all those kiwi sun starts, when I divide that kiwi sun, I'm going to line this area so that we've also got undergrowth, you know, in amongst all these plants as they grow and divide. So, hey, let's take a peek in the greenhouse. Just so you can see, oh, it's so nice and warm in here. You know, I keep it enough so it doesn't freeze. I'm not trying to grow things, I'm just trying to keep things from freezing. So I do have a little heater on. So you can see here, I put all the, can I zoom out? Yes, I can. I put all of the Bergmansia in here, and then Tradescentia, Coleus, anything I had planted in the ground that I knew wasn't cold hardy, that I thought, you know what, it'd be kind of cool if it came back. I dug it up and brought it back. You may have seen on one of my posts, if you follow me on socials, that last year I forgot to lift this elephant ear, and it came back this year. Well, this year I'm not risking it, so I went ahead and lifted it, put it in a pot. It can hang out in the greenhouse. This beauty is still blooming. Oh, and check out this bird of paradise. I got a flower there. I got another flower spike coming back there. And then my red obsidian bananas. I donated some to our Master Gardener prop group for a plant sale to grow out. And then I did cut down my Jean Daniels. And then my hardy hibiscus have been pruned back, and they're trying to grow or do something. And then I do have a little prop corner. Some Coleus starts that were gifted to me. And there might be a begonia or hardy fuchsia in there. A bunch of Jean Daniels, and a lot of those are getting rooted. And then my Butylon Savitzii. Wow, I think I'm at about a 95% success rate on rooting those in perlite. So that should be fun to have a bunch of those to share, sell, do something with. This is not showing any roots yet. Well, actually, I might see a root in there. Well, hard to say. Anyhow, this was cut almost a month ago, and it's still nice and crisp, nice and firm. But you know, that's begonias. They're just a lovely creature. Yeah. And then a random ginger plant. Like I said, random. Anyhow, let's get out of here. Go back to where it's cooler. All right, so a little side shot. So that's Chandler's Hardy. Boy, that thing just melted away. I don't really have high hopes it'll come back. I think one of the dogs kind of did something to it. That's supposed to be a cold hardy alocasia. Emerald Isle from Proven Winners. Not sure what the real name is, because, you know, Proven Winners likes to take a plant and give it a new name and sell it as their own. But still kind of cool looking. And then, oh my gosh, this Begonia macrantha, one of the strongest growers for me this year. I look forward to seeing what it does in coming seasons. And then there's that. So, hey, why don't we pop into the front yard and we can talk about the garden on Grandview and the goals for the front garden into the coming year. So in the number of years that I've been doing my videos of my garden in my backyard, I've spent very little time in the front yard, but that's changing. With the garden on Grandview, it's all about from road to back fence. Everything that I'm doing to incorporate and really make the whole property a garden. And with that mission and that goal in mind, I found through the Pierce Conservation District here in Pierce County, Washington, that they have a grant that assists in creating habitat where you remove turf and replace it with native plants. And it doesn't have to be 100% native plants, which I found very intriguing. And you can get a grant up to, I believe it's up to $4,000, or 75% of the project cost, up to 75% without going over $4,000. And you can either get a contractor, hire a contractor through them, or you can do it yourself. And I had so much fun doing my backyard that obviously I wanted to do it myself. So if you didn't catch my post on socials where I talked about the garden on Grandview, here, this is kind of the best I could do as far as an artistic conception of the goal for my front yard. The way I describe it is I want it to be Northwest coastal themed, with a variety of grasses, a variety of evergreen type plants, and many collector plants. Still though, the focus in the front yard will be native, pollinator friendly, and to remove all the turf. So I don't have to mow, because I hate mowing. So to start with, here in the next couple months, I will get some mulch in. I won't find out until January if I got that grant. The grant is just to help. Either way, this is the process. But, you know, I'm a working man. I'm on a budget. So if I can get a grant to help that dream come true, well, that's great. And if you want to partake and help that dream come true, I'll put a link in the description. And any funds that you donate, by all means, will go toward that process. But
this is what I want to do. I want to be known as that plant guy, and that's what I want to be known on my yard. So that's the garden on Grandview. We probably won't have many episodes between now and next spring, but on my socials I'll be updating, you know, when the mulch is delivered, and as we start really narrowing down some of the plants. I've got a huge list of plants already, but I need to check and see what kind of placement, what can I do, what kind of pathways. There's all sorts of fun design elements that are going to go into this, because I want, when people drive by, walk by my property, I want them to go, wow. And then years down the road, just the garden on Grandview. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Not nearly as short as I had hoped, probably not as long as you were afraid it would be, but there you go. Happy gardening.